when I look at the light heavyweight roster, they do have some good contenders coming up. Johnny Walker, Dominic Reyes, two young, hungry contenders who have won every fight they've been in the UFC. But Thiago Santos is probably the most deserving of a fight. I don't really want to see that much. I want to see either a third DC fight at heavyweight or Francis Ngannou is what I want to see with Jones if I had my choice. I don't know if that's what they're going to do next, but Jon Jones has got to get in there with somebody that actually can threaten him with something. Because if it's just going to be a back and forth chess match, technically he's going to beat everybody.
And I think we saw that Smith, game plan, the whole thing, just couldn't get off in the ring, and he talked about it, that just, he let Jon Jones be Jon Jones, and he didn't understand what happened, and Jon Jones seems to have done that to just about everybody. I agree with you. I think the most intriguing thing for him is a move to the heavyweight division. I wouldn't rush him in with the top heavyweights just yet. I might go a different route here in the heavyweight division. If it was up to me, I think that the right thing to do is that you take Cormier and you pay Cormier maybe more money than any of the other heavyweights right now, and you have him rematch Stipe Miocic. After all, Miocic has been on the shelf and kind of waiting, and he is a former champion with a lot of decoration, a decorated former champion who deserves a rematch. So that rematch there, and then you take Jon Jones and put him in with Brock Lesnar. That way you kind of got the big fight that they wanted there. The X factor here too is Lesnar. Is like we've been sitting around waiting, and where is Lesnar? What's the news with him? I don't know on the pro wrestling side, but I think that would be the best way to get Jon Jones into the heavyweight division fast, and then set him up to see where he goes from there. I think you're right. I think what they're going to do is we're going to get the rest of this year him cleaning out the light heavyweight division, kind of reminding everybody he's the champion and stuff, and then just the consistency of work should put together put to rest some of the baggage.
I actually one of the most intriguing things I've heard Chad say on the podcast that really got me thinking after the whole move from Las Vegas over to Anaheim, or not Anaheim, over to Los Angeles for the Gus Jones fight, where he was saying that he thinks that they're going to end up stealing that Brock Lesnar fight from DC and giving it to Jones, and that this is all, because we get into some conspiracy theories, that this is all basically a pretext to use the same arguments for past steroid use to cover for Brock Lesnar to get him in there. And I thought that was really interesting, and it could be true, because they're going to have to do something, because he's a career juicer. Everybody knows it. Brock Lesnar, that is who I'm talking about. But if they ended up giving that fight to Jones over DC, which I do agree with both of you that it would be a bigger fight, but it's just such a slap in the face to DC at this point, man, because that was the fight. I mean, they've already had the whole altercation inside the octagon with Lesnar coming in there and pushing DC, and that's the fight that DC's basically been hanging on to before he retires, that he wants to get that Lesnar fight. He's a big pro wrestling fan. So it would be a gigantic slap in the face to DC, but I don't disagree with you that would be the best route that they could take, because Jones, he can fight Thiago Santos. I think we're still a good year away from somebody like Johnny Walker coming up and being challenging for the belt. He still has other things to do and prove. I do think that could be a fight in the future if Johnny Walker keeps wrecking people. It'll be a young, hungry, popular phenom contender that's wrecking people going against the champion. That could sell. But right now, nobody's going to be interested in just a basic Thiago Santos, Corey Anderson, these type of fights against Jones, because it's getting to the point where nobody thinks he's going to lose. And so going up to heavyweight is probably the best route for intriguing matchups.
Not to beat a dead horse, but I do think there's one path maybe to selling that fight to DC, and that is, like I said at the very beginning, is first you dump money on him like the champion. Make him make more money than all the other four in question, and treat him like a real champion. I think that'll speak a lot to it. The bottom line is what's good for the sport. Let the circus be the circus. Let Jon Jones fight Brock Lesnar in a 3-round fight, and let the champion defend his belt against a worthy #1 contender. I think you could sell that to a competitor like like DC. But we'll see. It'll probably be some kind of circus.